Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. Sorry about the background noise. It's a messenger message mostly from someone that I am talking to right now. So basically, I'm returning to you this afternoon for an album review. This is for the Rolling Stones' new album, Hackney Diamonds. I believe is how you pronounce the name. The Hackney. Um, so this is their new album. New album that I was surprised that Rolling Stones is still making music. I'm like, how old are these guys now? Like 70 or 80 or something? So basically, I'm going to discuss what I listened to for the Rolling Stones' new album, Hackney Diamonds, which is a 12-track album. It's like 48 and a half minutes, and I'll let you know what I thought of this album overall. So let's dive into this album review. Now, this is pretty much Mick Jagger is the lead singer of the band, if you are well aware. Um, if you guys know. Basically, I think almost everyone knows because Rolling Stones have been around since the 60s. So they've been around quite a while, like 70 years. 70, I think it's about 70 years, maybe 60, 70 years, something like that. It's been a while, basically, like over 6 decades, I think. So Angry is the first track, and that's a good track. I actually like this song. Um, I wasn't sure if I was gonna really like it, but I think it's good in its own way. With how it sounds, Mick Jagger's vocals sound not so bad, and just the drum work and guitar work is pretty strong in this track. So I'm really uh, liking this track. 4.5 out of 5. I don't love it, but I think it's a good track in its own way. Um, it actually is one of the highlights for the album, and I think it was the first single for this album. Get Close is a solid one too. Wasn't sure if I was liking Mick Jagger's vocals in the chorus. There were some weird tone moments that I just his vocal tone, with how he sung a certain part, Get Close lyric and all that. There was like a little cringe vocal pitch that I couldn't get on board with. But overall, it's a solid track because the drum work and instrumentally, it's pretty good. So 4.5 out of 5. Depending on You is a good track in its own way. Don't really hate this one for how it sounds. And I really wasn't sure if it was going to be my kind of song, but it really grew on me. Um, as I kept listening through the track and as I progressed through it, it sounded a little bit better than I thought, so 4.5 out of 5. Bite My Head Off is a good track in its own way. Not my favorite, but it is one of the strong tracks for this album. So 4.5 out of 5. Mick Jagger's vocals sound pretty good in this one, and yeah, Whole Wide World is a solid track too. I really like how it sounds overall, so 4.5 out of 5. It's mellow for to a degree, and then there's some soft drum work that comes in that sounds pretty strong with how it sounds, so 4.5 out of 5. Dreamy Skies had like a western kind of bluesy sound to it. I don't know. This one was pretty good for what it went for. So I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. It's a good track in its own way. It's one of the strong tracks for the album, too, as well. The first half is actually the strongest part, pretty much. And some moments in the second half are pretty strong, too. So now to get to the second half of the album, which is from 7 to 12, Mess It Up was decent. It wasn't really my cup of tea kind of song. I didn't like how Mick Jagger was singing it and the repetitive lyrics, with certain lyrics that say really, 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 um, with how he repeats it a few times. It gets a little annoying to a degree, but overall, I think musically the song is decent, so 4 out of 5. Live by the Sword is a solid track. It does tend to repeat itself a bit, but in a catchy way and in a good way. So I think I'd give this a 4.5 out of 5 for this track. It's a good song, just has its weak tendencies from time to time. Driving Me Too Hard is a solid track too. didn't hate how this sounded. So it's only like 3 minutes and 17 seconds, but it is a well worth listen song. So 4.5 out of 5. Tell Me Straight has a featured artist in it, which you will have to remind me who the featured artist is in it. I thought it almost sounded like Willie Nelson or something. I don't think it was Willie Nelson. I think it was somebody that was featured in this song, but I was trying to look into that and I couldn't find out who was singing in the track. But I'll probably do my research again to thoroughly check. But there is a featured artist singing majority of the track, and Mick Jagger sings in harmonizing with the featured artist, and it sounds pretty good. So 4.5 out of 5. Sweet Sounds of Heaven is a good track in its own way. I really dug this track. I'd probably give Tell Me Straight a 5 out of 5. I kind of did like how it sounded. And there are some tracks I would give stronger ratings, but basically, Sweet Sounds of Heaven is getting a 4.5 out of 5. It's a good track in its own way. And finally, we get to the closing track, Rolling Stone Blues. Keep in mind, Sweet Sounds of Heaven was over 7 minutes. So you're in for a lengthy track, but it does get the job done with how it sounds. So now to close with the closing track. Rolling Stone Blues is solid. It's not very long of a track. It's like 2 minutes and 42 seconds or something like that. But it sounds alright. It's a bluesy, Western kind of song. It's just a blues kind of track. It sounds good, so 4.5 out of 5. Production, mixing, and execution wise, sorry about that ding again. Someone on Messenger I'm talking to. I think production, mixing, and execution wise, the Rolling Stones' new album Hackney Diamonds was a good listen. I was actually impressed with this album. I wouldn't say it's a pretty good album this year, but it is a good album in its own way. Will be on my decent to good albums of 2023 by the end of the year, which the end of the year is like 2 months away, pretty much. So it's getting that. We're getting down to the end of the year list videos that will be happening on my channel next month, starting next month. So pretty much for an overall score, I think I'm going to give the Rolling Stones' new album Hackney Diamonds an 8 out of 10. Good album in its own way. Highly recommend you check this album out when it comes out tonight at midnight. I think it's a well worth listened album. It's well worth of a listen because there are some tracks I kind of do dig in this album. Tell Me Straight is probably my favorite. Angry is my favorite. I'd probably bump up the rating for Angry, but overall, I think 5 out of 5 for Angry, if I'm being honest, because I did enjoy how it sounded. And the first half was pretty strong, so 8 out of 10 for the Rolling Stones' new album Hackney Diamonds. I thought there were some rating changes I made during the end of the review. Just keep in mind, Angry and Tell Me Straight are my favorites. There are some other ones that I think are my favorites, but mostly the rest of the songs are solid and decent. So 8 out of 10 for the Rolling Stones Hackney Diamonds. Thank you for watching this album review this afternoon.